So, the change of character. Now, this is probably a term that you've heard many times before, especially when you're researching smart money concepts and just getting into it. And it could definitely leave you confused, especially when you're looking into the live markets, because in theory, it's very simple to apply. But when it actually comes into using it, it could get a lot more complex. Hence why, in this video, we're going to be talking about two main things: the false change of character and the true change of character. Now, this is a term that honestly I've sort of just thought and come up with, in my head, but can definitely be applied, especially in theory and also in the markets as well. Now, when we're looking at the false change of character, or just in general, thinking of a change of character, what is it? Now, let's just say, for example, we're looking at a downtrend. What we're going to get is we're going to get lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Eventually, it gets to a point where, for some reason, either we've hit a high time frame demand zone, for example. So let's just say we've hit a very important level of demand, or if we were on the opposite side, it would be a level of supply. Let's just say, for example, we've hit it, and now eventually price reacts aggressively off it, but actually exceeds the previous market structural high. So what this means is now we potentially have a change of character right here. Or in fact, if we do close above it, we do have a change of character. Now, this is the point where a lot of traders would see this, for example, just one simple confirmation of the break above and the closure, and simply think, okay, now we can easily, just get into trades by looking at something like this. But there's many times in the market where this doesn't pan out. You get that change of character and simply your stop loss just gets hit. And this is one thing that we do need to understand here. When we're looking at a false change of character, you're going to get that initial. So with the false change of character, what we're going to get is we're going to get that initial drive upwards. It breaks the market structural high. Eventually, what this means is, for now, we potentially think we might have a successful change of character. What actually happens is we get a tiny pullback, and eventually our next confirmation is going to come into line. If this high is not broken, but is respected, so the order block that's been generated there is respected, what could potentially happen is price simply sells off. Essentially, when you're looking back at this, all this is a simple complex pullback. And this is a topic for another time, but pretty much all it is one of the highs is simply not respected, but eventually one of the other primary structural highs will just be respected, and eventually price continues downwards. Now, when we look on the opposite side, we've got the true change of character. Essentially, what we're looking for here is we're going to be looking for that double confirmation. So you get that initial push upwards, which breaks above the primary structural high, as you can see. So potentially it could react off, some kind of higher time frame order block down below. Eventually breaks above it. But the next key thing here to note is once we get that initial pullback and the drive upwards, it doesn't respect the order block that remains there. So what that means is now essentially we've got that, we've not only got the change of character, we've also got that continuation of market structure. Therefore, this order block or this this demand zone should be respected. Now, when we get back into the charts, just keeping this in mind, you could take a screenshot, whatever it may be, even with this one as well. Many times we do actually see this implemented in the markets. Just taking a look at this example over here, GBP CHF. Now, in the first scenario, what do we have? We always need, and this is one little tip, we always need to look at the order block that created the drive past the primary structural high. So in this scenario, the order block that we're going to be looking at is this one right here. As you can see, we had some kind of consolidation within this phase right here. But as soon as we got that little pullback or retracement to the downside, eventually what price decided to do was to fully have that change of character to the upside. Now, as you can see, price sort of drove forwards, but eventually it got to a point where, we returned back to this order block. Now, this is the key thing we need to understand. If we get a reaction off it and any of these supply zones are respected in the same way that, for example, over here, this supply zone was respected after we had that change of character, that's where we're starting to have our confirmation that potentially price will just continue downwards. As you can see, all of these areas over here were pretty much respected. Price did not drive through it. Instead, price decided to continue downwards. As you can see, this is what we would call a false change of character. Now, when it comes to this scenario over here, what did we get? Again, we have these primary structural highs, as you can see, just pointing it out over here, for example. But as you can see in this scenario, from down here, we've actually broken past this primary structural high. Now, one of the key things that we do see right here, we do have a return to the order block, as you can see, that generated this move past the structural high. But the important thing that we do see is any of these supply zones have not been respected. So what we tend to see with a true change of character is this move to the upside leads to another market structural break. Therefore, price is expected to continue upside to the upside as it has been already. So guys, a true change of character versus a fake change of character. Definitely take this into account, you know, applying it both to the higher time frames, the lower time frames as well. Just keep a mind of, you know, all these pretty much these significant market structural points. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. So guys, please like, subscribe. You know, all these videos are coming out for you guys. You know, I'm focusing a bit more on these short-term sort of content as well. You know, hopefully it's more digestible and it's more straight to the point. So yeah, that's going to be it for this lesson, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.